Welcome to Fantasy and Enchantment, where I describe fantasy books to my husband and see if he's enchanted. My name is Sarah.
And I'm Justin.
This week we are talking about Kingdom of the Wicked, which is both the name of the first book and the name of the series, I think.
How many books are there?
3.
That's a somewhat reasonable amount.
Yeah, it is the name of the series as well.
Okay. Why did you have to check?
Because I couldn't remember.
Okay. Must not be too memorable in the series.
I read the series a long time ago.
Oh, okay.
Like over the winter. So it's been a while.
Winter is coming.
Yes. I mean last winter though.
Winter's not just breathing heavy. It's
Okay.
coming. It's coming all over the place.
Speaking of, content warnings.
Speaking of, this book's probably about porn.
No, actually, this first one is considered young adult.
Oh, okay.
The other two,
They become porn.
yes.
They grow up with you. They figure you read a young adult book, you start getting a little hot in the nethers, and then you start with the fucking. And then by the time the second one comes out, they're like, these kids are probably fucking now. Let's put out some porn.
Okay. All right.
By the way, we curse, and there's profanity and
Yes.
adult topics.
Adult content and spoilers for the book and the series.
I'm going to spoil it.
Also, it just occurred to me a little while ago that we're going from one witch book to another witch book. 'Cause
Lots of witches.
yes, Heartless Hunter was witches, and now this series.
Right. Are all of these books out? Have you read them all?
Yes,
Okay, so it's not like the other one.
correct.
Right. The last one we only did the first part.
Right, because the second one's not out yet.
Right.
Okay.
Witches.
Yes. So we'll do the description
Yeah.
and the cover
Right. And the map.
and the map.
Of course there's a map.
Are you ready?
Yeah, sure. Let's do it.
Don't sound so excited.
Ah.
What the fuck was that? Okay,
Why are you reading me the description from the internet when you've got the book?
I'm currently holding the second book in the series,
Oh,
for anyone who's confused.
I'm confused.
'Cause it's got the
I'm
map
part
in
of it. I'm glad you're telling me this. I'm confused.
Okay, anyway. Amelia and her twin sister Vittoria are Straighty. There's a lot of Italian in this book.
All right.
Witches who live secretly among humans, avoiding notice and persecution. One night, Vittoria misses dinner service at the family's renowned Sicilian restaurant.
Oh!
Amelia soon finds the body of her beloved twin, desecrated beyond belief. Devastated, Amelia sets out to find her sister's killer and to seek vengeance at any cost, even if it means using dark magic that's been long forbidden. Then Amelia meets Wrath, one of the wicked princes of hell she has been warned against in tales since she was a child. Wrath claims to be on Amelia's side, tasked by his master with solving the series of women's murders on the island. But when it comes to the wicked, nothing is as it seems.
Oh, when bodies start turning up, you don't be asking any questions around here, huh?
Okay,
Oh!
so that's the cover.
All right. It's a skull with a snake coming out of it?
Yes,
That's pretty traditional. Pretty traditional tattoo fare.
yes.
Okay.
Okay.
All right.
There are tattoos in the book as well.
Of course there are.
Okay.
They're Italians. Why do Italians wear gold chains?
I don't know.
So they know where to stop shaving.
Yeah, you've said that
Have
before.
we done it have we gone through my Italian jokes before? I think we have.
You've said a lot of shit in the past few months. I'm gonna go ahead and say yes.
How do you know if you've got Italian tires?
I don't know.
When they go flat, they go wop, 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 wop. It's funny because Dago and wop are both slurs for Italian people.
Stop it. I didn't
I don't think you knew either one of those.
No.
Wop, 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 wop.
Okay. So, the tricky thing about this being a library book is that they stuck down the covers, so I can't pull it up. But these are the 7 circles of hell.
Right.
You can see the other half when you go to this end of the book. So,
Right. I mean, I've heard of the layers of hell, but not the circles of hell.
well, layers, circles, it's basically the same thing.
Okay.
Okay. Are you ready?
That's the map. It's just
That's the map, yeah.
it's just a bunch of castles with moons behind them. That's not a map.
Okay. It's
Good try.
the closest we get.
All right, it's an illustration.
Yes, it is.
Is this hell with one L or hell with 2 L's?
Hell with 2 L's.
Okay,
The
good.
traditional hell.
Good.
Considering you went to Catholic school, you should be familiar with the concept.
Very familiar. Was told I was going there many a time in Catholic school.
I grew up Baptist, so also was told regular basis.
Yeah.
Going to hell.
But yeah, you're not allowed to dance or anything.
I wasn't that kind of Baptist.
Isn't that Baptist?
There's a million different kinds of Baptists these days.
Ridiculous. A million different kinds of people with imaginary friends.
Okay. Let's get started.
All right.
So it starts with a prologue. I know how much you like that.
Yeah. God forbid we just start the goddamn story.
Two twin girls.
It's the story before the story.
Yes.
So get you ready for more story.
Okay.
All right.
Victoria and Amelia are sitting with their grandmother, who they call Nonna Maria, because it's basically Italy.
Yeah. So she's making gravy.
Actually, they're doing protection charms.
Okay.
Each one of them is wearing an amulet, and they're about 8 years old when this is happening. Nonna Maria thinks the devil or the princes of hell are on the loose. And the girls ask to hear stories about the Malvagi, who are the princes of hell. She says the Malvagi are demon princes stealing souls for the devil.
Okay.
Amelia's amulet is silver. Victoria's is gold. They're not allowed to bring them together, but there was one night that they did, and when that happened, there was like this weird purple light. From then on, Amelia could see kind of like auras around people.
Why would you give these mythical jewelry pieces to 8-year-olds and tell them, hey, don't do the thing? Because they're definitely going to do the thing.
It'll be explained more later.
All right.
Okay. And then we get into the story. So chapter 1, 10 years later, so they're both adults at this point. Amelia is working in her family's restaurant. Also, this first book isn't too crazy, but like the series as a whole gets pretty bonkers as you go on.
Okay. Is this set in like modern day Italy?
No.
No.
No, it's medieval-ish. Like she talks about wearing a corset and like having to light candles, and they have no electricity.
Okay. Just want to need a world building here.
Okay.
Need to know what kind of places they're living in. What kind of world this is. If it's real, if it's not.
I mean, it's
I
definitely...
mean, obviously it's not real, there's
Okay.
witches, but...
Okay. Amelia is working in her family's restaurant. Victoria is late. Amelia thinks she's meeting with Domenico Nucci, who's just like a village boy.
Oh, Domenico Nucci!
Okay. Nonna Maria talks about all the signs that the devil is coming. And she mentions bodies. She says 2 girls were murdered last week, and they happen to also be witches. She says there are stories that the wicked are going to start searching for something that was stolen from them. And then a brother from the monastery. You grew up Catholic, so I'm assuming you're familiar with monasteries as a concept, at least.
Yeah, not brothers, but monasteries, yeah.
Okay.
They were like monks and whatnot.
Yeah.
We didn't do that.
Well, I know you weren't a monk, but...
Well, no, but they didn't have those.
Okay.
It was just priests and
Well, yeah, maybe not at your Catholic school. That is like a Catholic thing, monasteries.
the kitty diddling and whatnot.
Okay.
Yeah, no, there was a monastery there, but it was where like the nuns and the priests lived.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
And assuming where they probably raped the children. Which definitely happened at my grade school just before I got there.
Oh,
the
cool.
priest who was there. It was actually, my brother went to the same school, and the priest who was there when my brother was like in kindergarten, 1st and 2nd grade, he got sent to a different church on the other side of town because he got caught touching some chillins at the school.
Well, that's great, because you know what he did at that other school?
Probably touch
Posterity?
more kids, but see,
Yeah.
that's pretty much the Catholic way. If you get caught as a priest diddling some kids, they just, instead of...
Ship you off somewhere
Yeah,
else.
they're just like, wait, too many people in town are going to talk about this. Let's put you somewhere new, and you can go diddle kids somewhere else. Just a slap on the wrist. It's basically how they handle things.
I hate it so much.
Especially back then when there was no internet or any way to look it up. It was
Yeah.
just like, oh, we just got a new priest. He just showed up here. Which, when we were there and a new priest showed up, it was like, oh, is he like a priest from somewhere else and he got moved here? Or is he one of the good ones? If there is such a thing. Remains to be seen.
Okay.
Kitty diddling. Let's make sure we put that in the title of this episode.
I'm gonna not.
Probably for the best.
Yep. Okay. A brother from the monastery asks for Amelia because sometimes she takes food up there. His name is Antonio, and he can't know that she's a witch because he's part of the Catholic Church, and
Those two
they
things
have
don't
witch
go
hunters.
together.
Yes.
They have witch hunters in the Catholic Church.
Well, in this Catholic Church.
Okay.
Also, that was the thing that Catholics did.
Yeah, well, they were notorious for not being the greatest of people.
Yes.
What with the Inquisition and all.
Yeah. Nobody expects the Spanish Inquisition.
Yeah.
So she goes to the monastery with Antonio, and they cook together. Vittoria sneaks up on them, and then her and Vittoria go back to their house. Amelia asks where she was. Vittoria says, like kind of joking, says that she was summoning the devil.
Yeah.
Yes. And then Amelia says she had a weird dream the other night. They're working in the restaurant the next night. Vittoria says she needs to leave early. Amelia forgot something at the monastery, and then Nana Maria reminds them not to take off the amulets. So they have to wear them at all times, and they cannot put them together. 2 rules.
Okay. Again, well, at least they're 18 now, so they're
Yes.
kind of adults. Don't give those to 8-year-old kids. It's just a bad idea. Like, we have a 4-year-old, and you can't tell her anything.
Can't tell her
Especially if you
shit.
tell her not to do something, she's
Yeah,
gonna
that's
do it.
usually when she does it.
And I can't imagine it's gonna get better in 4 years. It seems like they just get more and more independent as they go. So
I mean, hopefully in 4 years she'll be less argumentative about it.
I don't know. She is my kid.
That's true. What did I do?
You're raising an independent 4-year-old already, who's already decided that she's got the world figured out, who frequently barks directions at you from the back seat while you're driving.
She is a backseat driver.
Big time.
Mommy, slow down!
Mommy, red bean, stop. Move, cars. Tell this cunt to get out of the way.
Well, I don't think she said that.
She doesn't say cunt, but she does tell other cars to fuck off on a regular
She
basis.
does, and she thinks it's really funny.
Yeah.
We're good parents.
Yep. Our
Okay.
kid says fuck off all the time.
Not all the time, every once in a while.
She tells the dog to fuck off, and she tells traffic to fuck off.
Well, that's still not all the time.
It's enough.
Okay. Anyway, Amelia goes back to the monastery. She gets the sense that someone else is there. So she finds a room where a guy is standing over a body, and then she watches him lick blood off of his fingers.
It's a priest, and he just got done finger banging a child.
And then yells at him. No. Spoiler alert, no.
Spoiler alert, he didn't finger bang a child.
No.
That's how you know it's not real.
Okay. He turns and runs and then drops the knife on his way out. She picks it up and checks the body. Guess who it is? It's her twin sister. It's Vittoria.
okay.
That was in the description that
Right.
Vittoria gets murdered.
Yeah.
Okay, I'm glad you were paying
I thought
attention.
she was at home.
No. She might have said she was at home, but clearly, no.
Okay.
Also, her heart has been ripped out
Oh.
and her amulet is gone.
That seems like a lesser of the
Yes,
concerns.
the heart thing is
That's
a
yeah,
bigger deal.
bigger deal. Probably gonna need that, as it
Yes.
turns out.
Amelia vows to make her murderer pay. So she runs back to her house.
Like how she immediately just goes, revenge.
And she hears a voice, and it's saying, "Little witch, all alone. Memories like hearts can be stolen." She tells her grandmother and her parents. Nana Maria says Vittoria was killed because of the blood debt, quote unquote.
Okay.
It was part of an ancient bargain struck between La Prima and the devil. La Prima was the first witch.
Okay.
Nana tells Amelia to let the goddesses take vengeance, like, don't worry about it, they'll take care of it.
It's all good. We got this.
Amelia decides she needs to find the man who was standing over Vittoria's body because he was licking blood from his fingers. She's like, he did it.
Right. Yeah, that's, unless you got some really bizarre fetish, that's definitely, you're responsible for it.
Yes. So 3 weeks go by. No one she's asked knows who the stranger was that she saw licking Vittoria's blood off of his fingers. Nana says Claudia stopped by, so Claudia is also a witch. She's a friend of theirs. Amelia goes to her room and then remembers that Vittoria hid things under the floor. She finds a gambling chip with a frog wearing a crown
All right.
and black paper. And the black paper has spells written in gold ink. So it's extra fancy.
Super fancy. Where are you getting gold ink? Where are you getting black paper? I mean, we would just go to like Office Depot. But
Yes.
where are they getting gold paper? Black paper.
Magic?
Magic paper?
Probably magic.
All right.
Okay.
Magic paper.
She also finds Vittoria's diary, but the pages are stuck together with a spell. So she decides to take the diary to Claudia's aunt, Carolina, because Carolina knows a lot about dark magic.
And since the paper's black, she assumes it's dark magic.
Yes,
Got it.
basically.
Racist.
Okay. Carolina says the diary...
Also, hang on. Are there just like a fuckload of witches? Because it seems like there's a bunch of them. Is everybody a witch?
No, it's like there are certain families that are witches, and they just happen to know each other.
Okay.
So Claudia's family...
They're just all friends.
Yes.
Okay. Just curious. Seems like there's a lot of witches and not a lot of normal people.
Okay.
I got questions. Need answers.
Carolina says the diary's magic calls to the wicked and says the black paper has a summoning spell on it. So Amelia decides she's going to summon a demon
Cool.
and ask him to open the diary.
All right. Can you just ask demons for things?
You can make like deals and bargains and stuff with them.
Okay.
So that's basically what she's planning to do.
All right. I didn't know demons were so willing to work with people, but all right.
I mean, she might be incorrect here.
Might not work
Just gonna
out.
drop that in there.
Okay. Foreshadowing.
Yes.
Not going to work out quite as she planned.
So Amelia goes to a cave that's like near the shore, near the coast. She has to speak Latin to do this like magic spell. She says, bound forever in eternal protection. And then this shirtless guy with tattoos appears. She realizes he's not just a demon, he is one of the wicked, one of the princes.
Okay. So he's one of the princes of hell.
Yes,
Got it. 2 L's.
with 2 L's, yes. And it's also the man who was standing over Victoria licking blood off of his
Oh,
fingers.
hey. Hey, I know you. I
Yeah,
was trying to find you.
yeah. And so she lunges at him because she's like, you killed my sister.
Probably not going to work out.
He doesn't even acknowledge her while she's hitting him, but he does eventually ask what spell she used. And she says it was a summoning spell and an added protection spell. They both get magic tattoos
Okay.
because they're like bonded together now because of the spell she did. He demands to know exactly how she phrased her spell,
What's it a tattoo of?
like flowers and stuff.
Oh, okay. It's like a heart with a knife through it. This says mom.
No.
Something. It's
On one, so the tattoo he already has is like a big snake.
Okay.
And that's why there's a snake on the cover.
Of course it is. Yeah.
Okay. Okay. Of course it
Of
is.
course it is.
All right.
Typical bad guy tattoo. It's a snake. I'm a snake.
All right. She asks who he is and why he killed her sister. He says he's the Prince of Wrath and the General of War, and then she starts laughing. So he threatens to kill her, and then tells her to just call him Wrath.
Okay.
So his name is Wrath.
All right.
She asks again why he killed her sister, and he says he didn't. He was in the monastery to meet Victoria because she made a bargain with his brother.
So when I said that it was either the murderer or just some weird dude with a fetish, I was right. It was just a weird dude with a fetish for licking blood.
No, he doesn't have a fetish for it. That's not what was happening. You're wrong on both counts.
I don't know. Weird dude licking blood off his fingers.
Not a fetish.
Hard
Eh.
to explain any other way.
There is an explanation. It just comes a lot later.
Is he a vampire?
No, there are vampires, but he's not.
Of course there's vampires.
Okay.
Why wouldn't there be vampires? It's a witch book set in Italy.
Okay, you made your point. Amelia asks why he's worried about the phrasing of her spell, and he says he needs to make sure he's adhering to the rules of the bargain she made. She tells him, and he freaks out, and then he offers to make a new bargain with her, because it will protect her from other demons, and he'll be able to sense when she's in danger. She thinks about it for a minute, and he says he'll help her find Victoria's killer because he also wants to stop the murderer. And then he says he can't lie to her, and he can't enter a house without invitation.
So he's a vampire. That's vampire talk.
Yeah, kind of. And he can't go back to hell unless the summoning spell is withdrawn. So he's stuck there until she says otherwise.
Okay.
She refuses the bargain and then leaves and runs into Claudia at the market. Claudia said she's having weird visions of black wings and a pitcher being emptied and filled over and over again.
All right. It's an odd visual, but okay.
Yep.
We'll go with it.
Amelia gives her Victoria's diary and asks her to open it. And then she hears a voice saying, "He's here." So she goes back to the cave, and Wrath is still there,
Where else is he gonna go? He can't go back to hell. He
Yep.
just lives in a cave on the beach
currently living in a cave on the beach.
with no shirt, new
With no-
tattoo,
yeah.
fresh ink.
She says she wants to know about witch hunters, because now she's like, if he didn't do it, maybe it was the witch hunters. And he says information is currency. So she's like, okay, I'll do the bargain with you. He says Victoria made a deal with Pride, who is the devil. Pride needs to get married to break a curse, and it has to be with a witch.
Okay. So you have to marry the devil.
Yes, so a witch needs to marry the devil in order to break some kind of curse he's got.
Okay.
The other dead witches made the same deal. So every witch who's been killed so far has been one who was supposed to marry the devil.
Okay. It's not really working out so well for his fiancés, huh?
No, it's not. And then she tells him she changed her mind about the bargain, and she leaves and goes back to the monastery. So he's still in the cave. She's like, fuck this guy. She's almost there when she runs into a guy. She realizes it's another prince of hell. He calls himself Envy. He says if she sells her soul to him, he'll help her. And then he calls her a shadow witch and warns her to align herself with a prince, or someone will do it for her. So, like, she's got to make a decision. So she runs to Claudia's house to get the diary.
Why are all the princes of hell just hanging out? All of a sudden. And I guess the devil, too, just like wandering around in Italy.
The devil is still in hell.
Well, but he came to try to get married.
No, Wrath has been his messenger so far.
Okay.
So Wrath is meeting these girls who are supposed to marry him.
Okay.
And then Envy is just there for some... We don't know yet. He's just there.
He's just hanging out.
Yeah, just hanging out. She runs to Claudia's house to get the diary and tells Claudia that the wicked are there. Claudia is like, yeah, I thought so. Because of the curse the first witch put on the devil, he can only use his full power if a witch rules with him, with the horn of Hades. So, he's in a hurry to break this curse. Amelia goes back to her house and then remembers the gambling chip that had the frog on it.
Okay.
It says greed in Latin. So she goes back to the market and shows it to someone she knows has a gambling problem. The vendor says it's from a club everyone talks about and you need a chip to get in. So she goes and happens to find it. Someone there calls her Victoria because they were
Twins.
identical twins.
Right.
Yep. It's a priest.
Oh.
Extra fun. And then a guard finds her and says the boss wants to talk to her. And he takes her to an office. And here's Greed, officially the prince.
So he just... One of the princes of hell runs a club in Italy.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
So again, they're all just hanging out on Earth instead of in hell.
No, I mean, not all of them.
Was the air conditioner broken down there, so they all decided to come to Earth? And they picked Italy of all places?
Okay. Greed is sitting at his desk. She asks what Victoria wanted from him. He says he'll answer if she gives him her amulet and offers to give her a different one as like a trade. He says the horn of Hades unlocks the gates of hell. Victoria knew the real story behind the horn of Hades. He says Victoria gave him her amulet and it's being guarded by a snake demon under the cathedral.
Okay.
And then Amelia goes back to her house and realizes she can open the diary with blood. All she needed was to bleed on it.
Okay. How does she figure that out?
Because of something Envy said.
Okay.
Victoria wrote about hearing voices. She found out that their amulets are actually the horn of Hades.
Kind of saw that coming.
Yeah. So she goes to talk to her grandmother and asks about the amulets. Nana at first goes, "Don't be silly." And then Amelia tells her about the snake demon. And then Nana says the amulets can summon the devil. But then a demon runs in and grabs her and cuts her throat open.
Oh, bye, Grandma.
Amelia's parents help her. And then she realizes her amulet is gone. So the demon must have grabbed it and like the...
And the tussle.
Yeah. So she goes to see Wrath. and she gives him a cannoli as like a peace offering.
Oh!
But first he says he doesn't want to taint himself with human food.
I mean, that's fair. Cannolis are pretty human food to be eaten.
Yes, very human. But he tries it anyway. She asks about the snake demon. He says they have to choose to give up whatever they're guarding. So the only way to beat one of them is to like convince it to give up whatever it's guarding.
Okay.
And they each get more new tattoos. He tells her to try putting a sleeping spell on the snake demon, but if she's dumb enough to go after it, he's not going to help her. So she leaves him there again.
If she dies, is his little bargain, is that just over? He's free to go?
I think so, yeah.
Oh, okay. Well, then, yeah, he would be like, I don't give a few fucks about you. Get out of here.
Yeah. She goes to the tunnels under the cathedral and puts the snake demon to sleep, and it is like fucking massive. Sneaks over to where she sees Victoria's amulet, but when she grabs it, the snake wakes up and it attacks her.
The snake wakes up and says, "Don't tread on me."
No one's treading on you.
No step on snake.
No step on snake. It bites her, so she stabs it in the eye with an amulet and runs.
As you would.
Yeah.
Also, she took no weapons with her at all. She was like, I'm just going to make him go to sleep. That'd be fine. That's the thing. Maybe I should take, a knife or a sword. Or...
She might have been relying on her magic a little too much.
Yeah, well, heavy reliance there.
Okay.
Take some fireballs or whatever the fuck they got. I don't know.
I don't think there are fireballs.
They don't have fireballs?
Not that I know of.
They should have fireballs.
Okay.
Continue. They don't have guns yet because it's Middle Ages or
yeah.
whatever the fuck.
Yeah. Okay. She collapses right before Wrath shows up, and then he carries away into a house and puts her on her bed. She hears people talking. Wrath puts her in a bath and forces her to drink something. And then she hears him chanting and passes out. She wakes up later and realizes she's in a tub. Wrath is holding on to her. He healed her. And she asks what the price was for saving her, because all magic has a price. He doesn't answer, so she does a spell to keep him in the house, but instead he just disappears. Like, she thought it was going to do one thing and it did something else.
Okay. Also, why does the god of war have powers to heal people?
Well, it's not that he has powers to heal people, it's that magic can heal people.
Okay.
So, and it's not that he's a god of war, it's that he is Wrath, so he feeds off of other people's anger and wrath.
Okay.
And that makes him stronger.
Right.
You look really unconvinced right now.
It's all over the place. You said this one gets real weird later. It
Yes.
started out pretty fucking weird.
I know. It gets worse. She finds him back in the cave, so that's where he
just
ended up.
lives in this cave now.
Yeah. And tells him what happened to her grandmother. He says it was probably an Umbra demon, and they're used as spies in hell. She asks if he'd be able to tell if Pride was summoned with the Horn of Hades. He says maybe, but they need to know where it happened. So she asks for his help, officially, finally, and he agrees, and he vows not to hurt her or any other witch. They go sneak into the monastery. And then he says he saved her partly so he could have more cannolis. So it turns out he likes cannolis.
Okay, that's the thing he's into.
They go to the room where Victoria died.
Wait till he tries a pizza.
Yes. Wrath is going to try to sense lingering magic. And she finally asks why he was licking Victoria's blood. He says he was testing it to see if she made a blood bargain with another prince.
He says that's how I get off.
No, it was not a finish. Damn it, Justin.
Because my dick was hard and I just had to do it.
Stop. Victoria had not made another deal, but she still could have been working with one of them. Amelia asks what a Shadow Witch is. He says it means that she has demon blood, so one of her ancestors fucked a demon.
Cool.
And says Victoria wasn't using the right objects to summon pride. So she thinks maybe greed killed Vittoria right now. She's just jumping from one thing to another.
Yeah, just one devil's advocate to another. Or devil's princes or whatever.
Devil's brothers.
Whatever the fuck.
Yeah. Wrath says it probably wasn't greed or a demon. And she threatens to stab him with his dagger if he doesn't tell her everything about the curse on the devil and why Pride sent him. He dares her to do it, but then they hear someone coming. It's Antonio, who's one of the members of the monastery.
Right.
She tells Antonio that her friend Samael came to light a candle for Vittoria, so because she can't call him Wrath, that's not a name.
Yeah.
So she just called, and I'm not sure how much you remember from Catholic school. Samael was originally the devil's name. Because he was an angel first, and then he got cast out of heaven.
He was also
became
called the
devil.
Morning Star while he was
Yes.
in.
Well, yeah, morning. Samael means morning star.
How do you spell that?
Sameal.
Doesn't sound familiar.
Okay. Anyway, she coincidentally called him basically the devil.
Right.
Antonio asks where he's from, and Wrath says, "Would you like to fetch some sacramental wine and delve into my lineage?" Because he's just not having this right now. Amelia asks if they can pray for a few more minutes. He agrees and leaves. Wrath tells her not to call him Samael again. He did not like it.
Doesn't take too kindly to being called something different.
Yeah. And then asks if her and Antonio have slept together,
Did you fuck that kid?
basically.
Yeah.
And she says it's none of his business. Also, they have not, but Amelia is kind of into Antonio.
Okay. She wants
So
to
she's
fuck.
thought about it.
She wants to fuck that kid.
Yes, but now he's part of the monastery, so he's not supposed to do that.
Right. That's not a thing that the Catholics take too kindly to.
No.
You can only fuck Jesus.
Okay. That's not where I thought you were going with it, and I was ready to jump in.
Well, yeah, and kids.
Okay,
But, like,
that's where I thought that was going.
but as far as the church is concerned, you can only fuck Jesus.
That's a real weird thing to say. Like, just hearing it out loud is weird. So Wrath says he'll send a message to the next potential bride and says their bond anchors him there, so he can't go back to hell. He'll find a place to stay and let her know. Amelia goes back to her house.
You know where he's gonna stay? That cave on the beach. That's where he's gonna stay.
Actually, no.
Oh.
Her mom asks where she was all night, and Amelia says she was at the monastery. And then her mom says, "Yeah, I know, Antonio told me." And says that she knows that she was with someone, and tells her that tumbling around with men won't make her feel better for long. So she thinks Amelia's just sleeping
whoring
around
yourself out.
to make herself feel better.
Yeah, whoring yourself out in the church, no less.
Wouldn't be the first time.
That's true.
Amelia takes food to the monastery. She asks Antonio why he talked to her mom, and he says another girl was murdered last night. He was just worried about her. And says people will probably be gossiping about it at the market. So Amelia and Wrath go to the market. They ask a vendor about the dead girl, whose name was Julia. He says it looked like she had been ripped apart.
Neat.
Yeah. And the police are still at the location.
I'd imagine the policing at that point in time is probably not real
Minimal
thorough.
at best, yeah.
They just kind of show up and they're like, oh, nothing to see here. Nothing to see here. Everybody go. We'll take care of this. We're the police. So, really.
Okay.
Like, is the guy still here? No? Alright, well, we don't know what happened.
Okay.
Not a whole lot of forensics going on, I imagine.
No. Wrath says again that none of the other princes were involved. But Amelia says they need to hide the next witch. Because, like, they keep dying. We gotta do something.
Right.
And then Amelia's at home. Her dad gives her a note. It has the name of a palace, and it says to meet at 8. She goes there and meets Wrath on the roof. So he's no longer in the cave. He's found this, like, rundown palace to stay in.
Okay.
She asks why he wanted her to come, and he says so she can get comfortable in the house. He wants her to live there with him, so he can make sure that she's safe while they're hunting for this murderer. He's going to go meet one of Pride's messengers. She can come if she doesn't dress like a pedestrian, is what he says.
Okay.
He doesn't like her, like, peasant clothes,
You
I
dress
guess.
boring, slut it up a little bit, huh?
Basically.
Let's see some leg. Give me some cleavage. Make with the titties.
Okay. So they go wait for the messenger. Wrath says he needs his dagger, which she's been hanging on to for a long time. And then she asks why her sister's heart was taken. He says there are a lot of reasons. She was probably alive when it happened.
Not for long, though.
Not for long, no.
As it turns out, that's a pretty intricate part of how your body functions.
Yeah,
So,
no, that's a necessary organ for
Yeah.
sure. It's not an appendix.
yeah,
You need that.
That comes out, you're pretty much done.
Yes, like immediately.
Yeah.
And tells her to stay focused and not let anyone know what her real motivations are. So the messenger shows up. They start torturing him. The messenger says he's working for God. Amelia does a truth spell. And the guy says he got money to give up information about Julia. And then Wrath just drops him and he says, okay, now we're going to go find the real messenger. They meet a guy. Amelia hears him and Wrath talking about her. Wrath says Anir, the guy, knows who the next witch is, and it's someone Amelia knows. So Amelia wants to warn her, and Wrath wants to use this girl as bait. Amelia wants her to decline Pride's offer. So, like, I'm going to give her a heads up. And also Amelia's going to be like, hey, don't marry the devil. By
I
the way.
mean, why are they agreeing to marry the devil in the first place?
Well, because it's, like, potentially they'd be queen of hell. They would have a lot of power.
Okay, so if you offer a witch to marry the devil, she'd be like, that's a pretty good idea.
She might, yeah.
Okay.
But then they find the girl's body.
Is the
It's
devil
too late.
hot?
Probably.
Oh, I mean, is he in this later?
Yes. Not
Okay.
in this book.
Got a big old piece on him. Tall, dark, and handsome, if you're into that kind of thing.
Maybe?
All right.
Okay. The girl's already dead. That's what I was getting at.
Oh, okay. Too late for her.
Wrath finally decides one of his brothers must be involved. Anir says Wrath needs to finish the marriage bond with Amelia. She started that when she summoned him. So something about the spell that she did was actually a marriage bond, not necessarily a protection bond. And then Amelia freaks out, refuses to marry him, and then runs off.
Okay.
So she goes to a restaurant. Wrath follows her, and then that's when she realizes he can find her because of all the fancy tattoos they now share.
Right.
He says he never lied to her, and she demands to know about the curse. He says Pride needs a consort. He was cursed because of what happened between him and the first witch's daughter. So, all of this whole curse started because of something that happened with the devil and with La Prima's daughter.
Okay.
The gates of hell are weakening. Breaking the curse will fix it. And demons are sneaking through the gate. And that's when she realizes there is a demon behind her. And Wrath tells her not to run. And then she panics. And she runs.
Bitches don't listen.
And it's not just a demon. It's like a big pig demon kind of thing.
All right.
Yeah. So it chases her around. Wrath eventually kills it.
And then they make bacon. Lots and lots of bacon.
Demon bacon.
Demon bacon.
Okay.
Or I guess it would be pancetta because they're in Italy.
Oh, okay. I mean, is pancetta and bacon the same thing?
Pretty close, yeah.
Oh.
Pretty,
I haven't really thought
pretty
about
similar. Yeah.
it. Okay.
I don't know. It's a joke.
Okay.
Trying to be funny because it's Italy.
I
Right.
got what you were doing.
Okay. All right. Just
Okay.
want to make sure we're all on the same page here.
Okay. She notices a door with a paw print and a stalk of fennel stamped on it. So Wrath opens it. The room is full of fishing hooks and nets. Amelia goes back to her house. Her room has been torn apart, and Victoria's diary is gone. Reminded me a lot of, like, the second Harry Potter movie when Harry comes back into his dorm and Tom Riddle's diary is gone. Anyway.
Right.
Okay.
I so vaguely remember. You have to remember, you made me watch all the Harry Potter movies one time, there are many of them that's the only time I've seen them.
Okay.
I think
Do we need to go through them again?
I don't really need
Our daughter
to.
might like them.
Especially not the goddamn camping one.
Okay.
Where they camp for the entire movie. I've seen the first one a handful of times. I've seen the one with the tournament.
The fourth one.
I've seen that one more than once. I went and saw the one with the werewolf where they travel through time.
That's the third one.
I saw that one in theaters. That's the only other time I had seen that one. And that's it.
Okay.
So I've seen 1, 3, and 4 more than once. The rest I've only seen one time.
Okay. Noted. So Amelia goes back to the palace where Wrath is staying and tells him the diary is gone. He says they're meeting another witch that night. She wakes up later and realizes Wrath left without her. So she wanders out to the shore and sees a party. She goes down to the party and starts dancing. She literally can't think of anything else. Wrath finds her and tells her it's time to go and says she's under Lust's influence. So Lust is also there now.
Oh, this is where the porn's going to come in. It's that guy.
He's
going to be trouble.
She realizes Lust is standing behind her. But then he breaks the spell on her and tells Wrath he's needed at home. So basically, like, get your ass back to hell.
Right.
Wrath stabs him, and then Lust disappears.
Also, Lust had a boner the whole time.
Probably, yeah.
His dick's just permanently hard. He's a walking gas station dick pill.
Oh, God.
Him and Elon Musk. If gas station boner pills were a person, it'd look like Elon Musk or Kid Rock. Or both.
Did you hear that Kid Rock and Nickelback are going on tour together?
Oh, God. Yeah, that's unfortunate for both of them. I don't know who to be more upset for.
Yeah.
Mostly the audience. That's who to be the most upset
Yeah.
for.
Amelia collapses, and it takes her a week to feel normal again. So basically, Lust magic had her on such a high that, like, she had this big crash.
She came so hard.
Okay. Okay.
She squirted across the room.
Stop. She asks about Lust. Wrath says he won't bother her again because she'll be able to stop him next time. He tells her to get better at reading people and says he'll be back later. Amelia goes to meet Claudia. Claudia is crying and pacing. She starts talking about bones and black mirrors. Says she saw the damned and the angel of death. So Claudia was trying to have a vision and something did not go right. She's all fucked up.
She had a bad trip.
She did, basically. So Amelia tries to take her to Nana Maria, who's still alive, by the way.
Oh, even though she got her throat slit.
Yeah, they fixed her up just in time.
Just sewed that up. She'll be fine.
Claudia tells her to run and then starts screaming. People from the monastery run outside, including Antonio, who asks what happened. And then Claudia starts rambling again. Amelia asks Antonio to take her back to Amelia's house. So she goes to look for Claudia's Aunt Carolina and then senses someone behind her. She realizes it's a vampire, so this is where vampires come.
Vampires are here now.
He says his name is Alexei, and Envy wants to see her, and says that Envy has her family at the restaurant. So she runs. Envy tells her to have dinner with him or he'll torture her family. He says she's standing between Wrath and something he's wanted for a long time.
What are they having for dinner?
Just like Italian stuff.
Spaghetti.
Pasta and shit, yeah.
Okay. Tell me, she's like, you gotta have dinner with me. And for an Italian, it's like boxed pasta and ragu. She's like, oh, I can't eat it. It's nothing like my mama's gravy.
Okay. Okay.
And they break all the noodles before they put them in the water. That's how you offend an Italian.
Okay. Envy says he needs both amulets and has a demon drop her parents in the room. They look drugged. He says she has 24 hours to give him the amulets or he'll take her family back to hell with him. And then he suggests that Wrath hasn't told her the entire truth about this curse that he's trying to break. So Amelia goes back to the palace and asks Wrath what he really wants. They start making out.
Because why not?
Because why not? She asks if he needs one more soul in order to be free. And then he doesn't answer, so they argue. She accuses him of lying by omission and says she's going to find her missing amulet. So Amelia goes back to her house. There are 3 demons guarding Claudia, Nana, and her parents. Envy is there. He starts threatening Amelia again, but then Nana does a spell to shut him up, like literally he can't talk. And then she opens a portal to hell and pushes him through.
Okay. That's a good little power to have. Oh, just open this portal to hell.
Yeah. Nana says they need to talk before Envy comes back. She says she's been marked by wrath. Amelia has been marked by wrath and can summon him at will. And then she says the prophecy is coming true. We were told of an ancient prophecy involving twin witches. When they were born...
Twitches, if you will.
When they were born, on the night of a terrible storm, only then could the amulets be worn. So basically, they've had these amulets in their family for a long time, but they were waiting for these twin witches to be born.
Got it.
In order to wear them and keep them safe, even as children for some reason. Their birth would be the start of the end of the devil's curse. They need to make sacrifices to keep the gates of hell closed. And then she tells Amelia to run. Like, I'll keep everybody safe. You just fucking run. Amelia realizes her grandmother used fennel to do her magic spell thing. Fennel is a symbol for shifters who are supposed to fight evil. So not only are there demon princes and vampires, they're also like werewolves.
Okay. Of course there are.
She goes back to the room with the fishing hooks and nets and then hears humming. She follows it until she finds a secret door and then walks down the stairs. She hears whispers the whole time and then sees something buried. She digs out her amulet and then hears someone, so she hides, but then Wrath finds her. He says there are 36 demons closing in and tells her to run if they attack. But then he starts fighting them off. Envy shows up and then stabs Wrath, and then Wrath disappears.
See you later, guys.
Yeah.
Is that what happens when they get stabbed? They just disappear. They poof into smoke.
Well, they basically go back to hell.
Oh,
That's
okay.
what happens.
Then he's got to, sneak through the gates and get back up?
Somehow, yeah. I think he has to be summoned in order to come back. But
Oh.
Envy demands the amulets. She puts them together and tells Envy to leave. Because, like, when they're together, they're a lot stronger. Now she can do super magic.
Super magic!
So she goes back to the palace. She remembers that she can summon Wrath because she's been marked. She tries, but nothing happens. Because Wrath got, like, pretty seriously injured, so he's probably not feeling up to answering a call right now.
Yeah, he's not taking calls currently.
No. So she goes back to the market and talks to the man she found in Greed's gambling den who called her Victoria. Then she asks about his son. And she sees that he has a tattoo of the shifter symbol. So he is a werewolf.
Right.
He tells her that Victoria worked in the gambling den, and he made a bargain with Greed. His debts would be forgiven if the wolves fight with the devil when the time comes. And this whole thing was by Victoria's idea. And then he says his son is at the monastery.
It seems like she didn't know shit about her sister.
Yes. Yes.
They had a pretty crappy relationship, I guess.
Victoria had a lot of secrets.
Yeah.
So she goes to the monastery, watches the Brotherhood meet. Their leader calls witches an infestation, which is exactly the kind of thing you want to hear about your whole family.
Yeah.
They leave and she goes inside and walks down a hallway to an open door. And then there's a big room and she gets trapped inside. The walls are covered in Latin. There's a book in the middle of the room. She realizes it's the first witch's spell book. And it's black. And it's got gold ink on it. So Victoria got that paper from the book.
She stole it.
Yes.
Right. That's where she got the fancy black paper from.
Yes.
It wasn't Office Depot at all.
No, it wasn't. And then Antonia walks in.
Oh!
Oh! She realizes that Antonio killed Victoria. So she's been looking for a demon this whole time.
Turns out it was just a priest in training.
Yeah. He says he needs to rid the world of evil. She starts using her magic to hurt him and then decides to get answers first. She says, "You will tell me the truth about everything I ask, and only then will I consider sparing your life." He says an angel came to him after his mom died and talked about the devil's curse. The angel told Antonio to kill all the potential brides, then summon the devil and destroy the horn amulets. So this angel was probably another prince of hell who he talked to. She offers to summon the devil right there. And he's like, "Okay, let's do it, and I'll kill both of you. Ha ha ha." He thinks he's really smart.
Yeah.
But then she does.
I'm gonna go out on a limb and say some lip dick fucking preacher in training human probably isn't gonna be able to kill the devil and a witch.
No. Because she does summon Pride, and then Pride possesses Antonio. He says he'll give her a gift in exchange for her soul, and then uses his magic to make like a big fancy dress for her. Because she's gonna marry him now. That's the gift. She says she'll meet him or his representative in an hour where she first summoned Wrath, and she has to do something before she decides whether or not to marry him. So, it doesn't really say what she did, but she goes. Wrath is waiting for her there. She says she'll marry the devil under 2 conditions. No more witches are going to be hunted, and Antonio is her prisoner to punish. So she gets to decide what happens to him. He creates a contract, she signs it in blood, and then Wrath takes her to hell. And that's the end of the book.
Okay.
This one's kind of a ride.
Yeah, it's quite a roller coaster so far. A little wacky.
You're a little wacky.
Whoa.
It gets even wackier.
All right. Who comes up with this?
This bitch, Kerri Maniscalco.
All right.
Okay.
She's got an Italian name too.
Yes, that's why there's a lot of Italian in the book.
Makes sense. She's probably in the mob. Let's not talk too much trash.
Okay.
I don't want to end up in the bottom of the Hudson River in a sack.
We're nowhere near the Hudson River.
I know. It's a Seinfeld quote.
Of course it is. Oh, God. What do you think I rated this one?
3.5.
No, 4.
4? Okay.
Yeah.
I mean, it was close.
Yeah, I mean,
It's fine.
it's good, not great.
Yeah. Does it get better? Does it get worse? It just gets weird?
It doesn't, I wouldn't say it gets worse, it just gets kind of weird.
It goes off the rails.
Yeah. Like in ways that you cannot predict at
I
this
mean,
point.
sometimes off the rails can be fun.
Yes, which is why it's 4 stars.
Okay.
Because like
It's already pretty out there.
there are certain books that I read and this whole series is one of them. It's like not the best thing I ever read, but it was a good fucking time.
All right. I'm trying to come up with a movie to compare that to. That's like, it's not great, but it's just crazy. The movie Feast, I think that falls into that category. It's like a crazy horror movie.
I don't really watch horror movies. So.
Yeah, Feast is kind of that way. Like, it's not a great horror movie, but it's pretty good. Like, it's got its moments, and it's really out there.
Okay.
What the character they build to be like the main hero. It starts off with this crazy action scene, and they build up this one guy like he's going to be the big hero. And it's like 10 minutes into the movie, and he just gets fucking ripped apart. And then it's like, oh shit, we gotta start all over now.
I did watch one. Was it Cabin in the Woods where they end up like underneath and it's like all these horror monsters?
I never saw Cabin in the Woods.
Okay.
A lot of people talked about it. It was like mainstream horror, and it just didn't do it for me.
Okay.
I like weird niche stuff.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah, like Barbarella. Remember when I made you watch Barbarella?
That was fucking weird.
That movie. That's a good one too. The movie's bizarre and it's nuts, but it's fun.
Okay. Okay. So,
Justin's movie reviews.
Yes, Justin's.
Watch Barbarella.
Okay. Anyway, we'll be back with the rest of this series.
Yay!
Kingdom of the Cursed is next.
Okay, it's gonna get weirder.
It's gonna get weirder, yep.
All right.
So we'll see you then.
Okay, bye.
Oh, follow us on Facebook and TikTok.
Yeah, do the thing.